all for being here. We are very glad to have this opportunity to share our view on LGBTQ rights in different continents. First of all, let's talk about the situation in Asia. The same-sex marriage is legalized in Taiwan in 2019. We also host an annual Pride Parade in Taipei, attended by LGBTQ groups around the world.
A majority of Japanese people support same-sex marriage or partnerships, but it hasn't been legal yet.
Homosexuality was illegal in Vietnam before, and they didn't start imprisoning them until 2015.
Nowadays, laws are constantly amended to show respect for LGBT people in Asia. Now we are going to introduce the history and current situation in Europe, Netherlands, Africa, Middle East, and lastly back to Taiwan.
Homosexuals in Western and Northern Europe have more protections and better life quality, while Eastern Europeans enjoy less. But these European countries were not so accepting for homosexuals at the beginning. Since Roman Empire, where Christianity became the main religion, thousands of homosexuals were executed because of the strict law. Anti-homosexuality was also inbred in European society, which considered homosexuality immoral and even a mental illness. It was not until 1972 the American Pride March was introduced to Europe and first held in London, where people's attitude toward homosexuality constantly evolving. The progress of neighboring countries will inspire and influence each other. In 1979, homosexuals in Sweden took secret in protest, promoting the Swedish government to remove homosexuals from the list of mental illness. In 1989, Denmark introduced registered partnerships for same-sex couples. In 2001, the Netherlands became the first country to open civil marriage for same-sex couples. Now, let's look at the current situation in the Netherlands.
In the Netherlands, the same-sex marriage bill took effect on April 1, 2001, making it the first country in the world to legalize same-sex marriage. Here is the first married same-sex couple. LGBTQ rights have a long history, but nowadays Dutch people enjoy the same rights whether they are in a same-sex or heterosexual marriage. The Protestant Church has allowed same-sex marriage since 2004, and what's more, while the Christian Democratic Appeal Party has formed the next government, they haven't indicated any intention to repeal the law. After having a better understanding of the situation in Europe, let's take a look at Africa.
The picture shows a degree of same-sex marriage acceptance worldwide. As we can see, Africa is where homosexuality struggles the most. In the whole Africa, South Africa is the only country that legalized same-sex marriage. But why is it? The first reason is the colonial laws. Of 72 countries worldwide that criminalize homosexuality, 32 of them are in Africa, where the punishment ranges from imprisonment to death penalty. More than half of these countries are former British colonies, where the colonial administrators introduced laws prohibiting unnatural acts. The next reason is religious morality, as Muslim and Christian leaders often vocally oppose gay sex. And another reason is the idea that homosexuality is imported by the West, so Africans regard them as un-African. These are why same-sex marriage is nearly impossible in Africa.
Homosexual situation in the Middle East is as miserable as Africa. Let's see the situation in Syria as an example. And I will elaborate it in 3 aspects. So the first one is about religion. Most Syrians are able to accept homosexuals because their religion is Islam. 90% of Syrians practice Islam. The attitude towards homosexuals in the Quran deeply influenced them. It's a big no-no in Quran. This is why those who practice Islam cannot accept homosexuals. As a result, the government's attitude is conservative. Syrian President Assad arrested and executed homosexuals in the early 2000s. And the law also forbids it. Homosexuals are not protected and even allowed by the law. And and same-sex marriage is impossible. To add my part, I'd like to recommend a movie called Mr. Gay Syria for you to have a glimpse of life of LGBTQ people in Syria. It depicts two Syrian refugees as gays pursue their dream of participating in a beauty contest. Last return from the most illegal places in the world to Taiwan, the earliest place to have a legal same-sex marriage in Asia.
Finally, let me introduce the situation in Taiwan. Taiwan legalized same-sex marriage on May in 2019, but there's still a legal gap in true equality. And this is a sign of Taiwan Rainbow Civil Action Association, and we often call it TWRCAA. TWRCAA hosts LGBT Pride Parade in Taipei every year, and during the parade, TWRCAA gathers the power of like-minded people to arouse public awareness so that the unseen problem can be taken seriously, and then a more inclusive society can be established. And the next is about related issue of same-sex marriage, and this is the LGBTQ organization in Taiwan called Taiwan Alliance to Promote Civil Partnership Rights. TAB-CPR continue to promote follow-up amendments. First, the marriage rights for transnational couples. So far, when one partner is from a country where same-sex marriage hasn't yet been legalized, they are still not allowed to register for marriage. And the second one is about artificial fertilization and full adoption rights. Because currently, same-sex couples are only allowed to adopt biological children of their spouses. And the last is about whether to let students receive LGBTQ education in school. And according to these charts, the survey shows surprising results that more than half of the people accept it. Overall, these are the current situation in post-same-sex marriage era in Taiwan.
评审请讲评。
That's the end of our presentation. We hope after the presentation, our audience can be more understanding and willing to give consideration to the rights of sexual minorities. Thank you.
评审请讲评。
I think it's so brave of you to bring up such topic to the public, and we do see a beacon light of hope in gender equality. So thank you for your encouragement to bring up this friendly treatment of our society. And I'm going to talk about your presentation. You have good postures and gestures, and you also provide a lot of pictures and information, and you strengthen your arguments that this world is a better place to live by showing us a lot of information from many different countries, that many countries are now devoting their efforts and time to make this world a better place to live. Yeah, and you guys also provide a lot of details that persuade our audience that we should love each other. Okay, so thank you so much.
Well, this is a very difficult topic. Then you did, smoothly your presentation introducing this topic. Very good. And also you introduced from international Africa to Taiwan, right? Then you did a kind of compare and contrast about it. So it's good also. So when you are showing about international, there is a suggestion, because you mentioned a lot of international countries, legal sexual marriage, right? If you show statistics, because you have the warm up, right? If you show numbers, that would be much better, okay? And your presentation, there is no problem. You show a lot of team working, your language is good, you prepare a lot, you speak very normal, natural flow, everything is wonderful, okay? Just a few suggestions about it, okay? Thank you.
Thank you.